Okay, so when you start creating a Python virtual environment, so this is a command Python 3 -m venv, then followed by the virtual environment name. So if I run this command on certain location, in that location you will find this folder. So when you want to activate, you should go to that location and activate it. That's uh, one of the things you need to note it down. When you use the Anaconda distribution of Python, actually you can run from, there is a command called conda activate and the Python virtual environment. Actually somehow that is taking wherever you can run that command from anywhere, not the specific location. Probably classic Python, I did not find that kind of behavior. Probably there might be some settings which I don't know. Probably if you know, please let me know. Happy to know also.
Yeah, I need to explore this.
Okay, so let me start my VM. Okay. Okay, before just to have a best practice. So as I said, told you, right, Anaconda distribution, it stores all the Python virtual environment in a envs folder. Here I just try to create one folder called environments and get into the folder, and after that I was creating the Python virtual environment, so that when you want to just check the virtual environment available, you can go and check it on this folder. It's just for the convenience purpose. It's up to you to have it or not have it, it's fine. Okay,
so when we have the command even from anywhere, if you give our full path like home dot data making environments and source activate, that will work, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so that I think maybe in the line number 63, if you anyway we are following your steps, right?
Yeah.
That will help us, means that's where I missed that line number 45, means where I install, I'm not sure, right? So if you anyway if you're listing out the home path and making that full path, that will help to use the direct command to activate.
Okay, yes.
That's where I confused, and now that's the reason I raised those many questions.
Okay, not an issue. Yes, thank you. Yeah, we will put here. We'll put the
updated path, I can say.
Yes,
with the full.
Yeah, you can just say source full path of your Python.
Yes.
Full path of your Python
environment.
Environment. Okay, thank you.
Sure. That will help. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, so I think Mahendra, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there is one more thing I want to discuss. I'll come to that.
Yes, I build the VM totally in the cloud, so just want to don't want to miss anything as we need to run.
Definitely. I am happy to take the questions or doubts. There is no issues. So it will help others as well. Okay, so this is
with your steps, I was successfully created the environment without any issues, except one of the resource manager link is not opening in our local. That's it.
There is a solution for it also. I will tell you that. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say that. Okay. So this is my virtual environment, and the IP address is 192.168.56.102. So why I'm saying you can actually connect your virtual machine from your local machine using the put utility. Okay, all these steps, how to do this, I actually put it in the video link. Okay, so if you just go through this, note this is right. If you go through the at least Where is that step? Okay. So here we create a part number 7 where we create a virtual environment, and then we start building we start installing the component. Like in the Python installation, I just told you how to create there's something called a network adapter. If you are doing this, if you are doing the setup on your local machine, so you need to configure the host only network adapter to connect the virtual machine from PuTTY, right? And we just have to give the username, or at least IP address you need to provide. Username you can provide later also, like when prompting it. I generally use this practice like username @hostname and open, then it prompt for the password. So I just given same data making as a password. So we are inside the VM. So here I have in the home directory, I created the envs. So inside the envs, I have the virtual environment, right? So this is the one thing. Coming back to the resource manager web UI. Okay, so okay, now just so Python installation. So anyway, given the order, please try to follow the same order. Uh, next is MySQL installation, which is also very straightforward. I think Python installation. Anyone have any questions? Please let me know. Okay, so in the MySQL installation, we just have to update the package index and run this command. Sudo apt install MySQL server, which will install the MySQL database server. And you can check the versions of the stuff. One important thing you need to follow is, say if MySQL client is not there, this MySQL is nothing but MySQL client, a command line interface to interact with the MySQL database. If it's not there, you can run this command to install it. And after that, what is the step we are doing is, so by default, MySQL comes with the username called root. So we want to make use of the root. You can create your own user and starting using it, the MySQL user. I am just making use of the existing default root user. That comes with the password. Means it will not have any password. If you just say sudo MySQL, it'll just open the CLI. Say I just go. So sudo MySQL. It is asking password because I said password. So this is that's what I guess. So it is access denied for this because I said this password for root user. So he's trying to connect using the root user, right? So since I said the password, it says not. So somebody password. Okay, so sure, I will increase the font size. I think PuTTY, right? You're asking in PuTTY. Yeah, just increase. So settings, change settings.
Actually, sir, I went to environments, but I am not able to find anything.
Yeah, so in the existing VM, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is there in the root folder itself. That time I did not. Actually, I created, but somehow I ran that Python virtual environment creation inside, outside that folder. So it is there in the root /home data making folder itself. That you will find one more data making folder. That's for Python virtual environment.
Okay.
Appearance, right? Yeah. Appearance. Where is that font? 14. Is it fine? The font size is fine. Okay, is it visible? Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so we set the password for the root user. So you just launch the MySQL, and we have to run this command: alter user username root @localhost, identified with the MySQL native password by you provide the password here. I just kept just for the easy to remember, I kept all the password data making. Don't mind me. You can keep whatever password you want to keep. Okay. So then run this flush privileges. So it will set the password. Now you can connect MySQL using the root user. So I'll just say sudo, not you need to use sudo also. MySQL -u, the username is root -p, and password I kept data milking. So it is launching the MySQL CLI. So you can run the commands like show databases, show tables, all the commands you can type. So I'll try to use MySQL DB. So these are the default tables available in the MySQL. There is a database called MySQL. Inside that we have this. Okay, so this is more of on the.
So those are default tables, or
yeah, these are the default tables. No.
Okay.
We will create one database. We will actually do when we go into the at least the project setup. But this is more of environment setup. Then we will go to the code setup. When you go to the code setup, we will do that stuff.
Okay.
That's what it comes here. So it comes to this part. When you before running your the dashboard, or before running our streaming job, we need to create the DB called ecom_db. We need to create. Inside that only we are going to store our data. We will come back here.
Okay.
We will come back here later. Okay, so in the MySQL install MySQL_v1.txt, it installs the MySQL database server and creates the password for your root user. Only 2 steps in the high level we are doing it here. So anyone, any questions? Talk me. I will tell you. So the next thing is we just follow this order, right? After MySQL installation, we are going to do the Hadoop installation. I will just tell you in the high level. So in the Hadoop, the prerequisite is Java to be installed, because the Hadoop framework is built using a Java language. So install OpenJDK Java. We just then set the home Java home environment variable, and then we need to create a passwordless login, so that different Java process in Hadoop, right? Because since we are Hadoop is a distributed framework, each process respect to particular components in running on different machines, they communicate to the process in other machine. So they need actually a handshake mechanism. So that time they may expect the username, right? If you don't set the passwordless login. So we need to set the passwordless login so that they can communicate each other without any problem. That step, and you just download the software and just follow this. Okay, it's more of I kept it in every step without missing any points. You can follow my video, and still if you have any question, we'll take it up in the tomorrow session. So one part here which I want to tell is when you modifying the configuration file called yarn_site.xml, there is a tag, property tag, where it says resource manager web app.address. Here I just given localhost:8088. Just change it to 0.0.0 so that you can access this web UI from outside your virtual machine. Say if you go here.
Can't we configure that localhost in IP addresses in the any variable so that it will pick and
because this configuration file is static, no? So that's the reason.
Normally when we mention the local host, right? So I think I'm not sure about the Linux. Even in the environment level, we the local host is going to point out to that IP address, right?
Yeah.
So there, if you put our static IP address, that may be will that be helpful?
At least I don't know, but there's a etc/host. There's a file called host Probably we
Right.
can try there, but I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not very much sure on it.
Okay, it is in etc dash slash host, right?
Host, there is a file called HOSTS, plural.
Okay, fine. Let me try.
Yeah, so there is. Yeah. Here, probably put one more entry and say IP address of that something. I think probably can try it out. So I'm not very much into that. So that's one thing.
Yeah,
So
sure.
if you,
I will. Yeah, I will try and I will let you know.
Sure, thanks. Yeah. So if you put 0.0.0, then just only this change is needed in this file. Okay, so even if you don't make that change, you should be able to connect the resource manager from the inside VM. Only that is needed whenever you want to connect from outside VM. Okay.
Yeah, actually, when we built in the cloud, we didn't get that UI.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, correct. You're right. So the desktop mode will not be available. So anyway, we have connect from outside only. Yeah, correct.
That's the reason.
Sure. So to start Hadoop processes, or they call it as daemon, you need to run certain shell scripts. So for SDFS related one, start-dfs.sh, which will start the Hadoop SDFS related process. One is the name node, and then another one is the data node, and there is another process called secondary name node. So those will get started. We'll just wait for some time. Okay, so if you want to know those processes,
sorry,
JPS.
I'm seeing only 3 when I do the JPS. Resource manager, JPS, and node manager.
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
So whenever I run that JPS, I'm doing it manually. So from your sheet, so I'm seeing only resource manager, JPS, and node manager.
Okay, did you try to run this shell script start-dfs.sh?
Yes. So first I ran that, and then the yarn also.
Okay. So so if you want to debug that, okay, I will tell you 1 minute. Just to run the yarn related process, just start-yarn.sh. So coming to your point, just go to the location. So which is we have in home directory, we have a work area, and then software. You might see software folder, and go to the CD Hadoop -3.2.4, and you will see there is a folder called logs inside the Hadoop 3.2.4, right? So just go to the logs folder. You will have the different logs for different the Java process of Hadoop. So we can check the logs why it is happening. So the first log you need to look at is the name node log. So if you just put LSLRT, it will list based on the timestamp. So these are the bottom one, that the tail part of is the latest logs, right? Try to open the name node log. Okay, that's the first log you need to check. Just this file.
Okay.
Just open it any nano editor. I'm using the nano editor, which is very simple. You can use VA editor if you are familiar. So if you scroll down to the bottom, if any issue comes, it will be there. So what is the particular error message, why it is not starting, all the things will be there. So since this is not having any problem, it's not having any issues here. In your log, you can find that. We can fix the issue, whatever issue you have it.
So by default, what process should start? Only
so it's okay.
Secondary node also.
For SDFS, okay, 3 processes should be started. One is name node, which is a kind of master process for HDFS, which stores the metadata of your files and directories in the HDFS, right? The second one is data node, where actually it is the one which stores the data in the form of blocks, right? Your file will be split into blocks, equal number of blocks, so mostly based on the block size. So it captures the metadata of your files in the HDFS. The third process for HDFS is secondary name node, which is kind of a backup for your name node. So at a periodic interval, it stores the name node metadata in the secondary name node. So there is a possibility that name node may go down due to some various issues. That time we can actually take the copy, whatever the latest snapshot we have it in the secondary name node, we can replace in the name node and make the name node process up. So these three process with respect to storage, which is HDFS. These two are for yarn related one. For resource management, any computation will be taken care of in the containers, which is a JVM process. Resource management, these two processes should be running. So totally, when you run start dfs.sh and start yarn.sh, you will see 5 processes. Just make sure that those 5 are running.
Okay, I'll check.
Yeah, no problem. Anyway, you can ping me in offline also if you have if you face any issue, we can take it up, or you can sync up in the next class also. Fine. Okay, so that's thing in the Hadoop installation. Then to the Spark installation. Again, Spark installation also very straightforward. So the assumption is Python, Java is installed already. We install Scala, and then SBT is just I installed it for future use. So those two install it. SBT is nothing but a simple build tool or Scala build tool. Okay. So when you want to create a Scala based project, that will be used during that time. And then you just have to download the binary of Apache Spark. The version which I'm using is 3.3.0, and then extract the file and then set this Hadoop Spark home. So that's the only thing you need to do it here. Okay, so when we want to run, first we will run our entire project in a local mode, and then we'll run in cluster mode. When you run a cluster mode, we need to start a few processes that I will tell you when you do that. Okay, as an installation perspective, this is the few steps we need to do. Any question? And I assume I can proceed next. So the last step is Kafka installation. So you can follow this file called install Apache Kafka _ v1.txt, right? So here, what we are going to do is, we'll just, again, assumption is you already installed Java. Okay. Okay, Java is installed and Scala is installed. Okay, these are the assumption. Okay, so you should also set Java home system variable, environment variable, and Scala home, which already stuff we did it in the previous steps. Okay, so what the version of Scala I'm using is 3.2.0. And again, the Kafka is initially built using Java. I think later point they changed it to the Scala. So it is pre-built on the Scala version 2.12. So that's the reason I installed the Scala 2.12. Okay, so take this binary and extract this binary. There are 3 changes we are doing it in the configuration files of Kafka. One is, as I told you, we are creating a topics, which is a container where your data is going to store. So that when you create a topic, you might also want to delete topic if not needed. So by default, it is not enabled. You cannot delete the topic in Kafka, but this property will help you to enable the delete option. So that is, you need to do it in the file called server.properties, which is inside your Kafka folder of config. And this is the first change. There is a 2 more change. Basically, Kafka comes with the inbuilt Zookeeper component. So Zookeeper component is basically in high level, it is a coordination component where 2 Java-based application can talk, right? So that's the reason Zookeeper is used. It comes with pre-built. We don't do any separate installation. So it is available inside your bin folder. So to start the Zookeeper, so before you start the Kafka broker or Kafka server, you need to start the Zookeepers. It is also called quorum peer. You will see the process called quorum peer main in a when you run a JPS, right? It will not show you as a Zookeeper as a process name. It will show quorum peer main. So we are creating the one service, Zookeeper service and Kafka service, so that we can run this file. So example, we can run this Zookeeper -server.start.sh and pass the Zookeeper properties manually. That is also one fine step. But I want to creating as a service so that I can use the command like systemctl, sudo systemctl start Zookeeper. It's a very simple command, right? Instead of running the entire script path. So this is creating a service in your Ubuntu. It's simple Linux based commands. So you just have to create a file name called zookeeper.service under this particular path and paste this code snippet from line number 55 to 68. So all this I just kept it in my video. Please follow that, and similarly do for Kafka as well. And just make sure you have the username of whatever you are using in your machine. So I'm using data making, so I just kept the username as data making, and I'm using the respective path accordingly. So once you set up, so you can start the Zookeeper using this command and Kafka using this command. So let me start this too. Just come out of it. Exit. Okay, if you want to check sudo systemctl status and something. For now it says inactive. I'll go and start. Run the status command. So it's now active and running. Okay. By default, the Zookeeper process runs on the port number 2181. If you run the JPS, you will see there is a process called quorum or peer main. And then I'm going to start the Kafka. I'll just check the status of it. Again, this is not started. Let's start that. Okay, it's also started now. So if you want to check what are the available topics in this broker, by default it may available some topics. So it is going to stop this video in 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll keep this session as the last session. Okay, so we will see tomorrow how to set up the project and run the project, and we'll see the end-to-end demo, and then we'll go into each step, source code of each step, and I will walk you through each program. Is that plan is fine?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's looking very good.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, now we install. So there is no topics available in this Kafka server because it's yesterday only I built it for our tutorial purpose. Nothing I just created. So see, in when you come to the big data world or the open source community, right? So all these are mostly Java based process, and it may listen to the particular port number. By default, it refers to a particular default port number. You can change it. You go to the particular components configuration file, you can change it. By default, Kafka listens all your requests, RPC requests on the 9092 port. So if somebody asks you what is the default port number for Kafka, it's a 9092. And for Zookeeper is 2181. So there are multiple port numbers. You don't need to just keep in mind, just I'm just giving you. So because whenever you want to connect this Kafka broker using programmatically, you need to know the port number. That's the one thing you need to know. And then I think Kafka installation is done almost, right? We are good on this. Okay, so tomorrow we will start from the line number 22. So I'm just following up the file name ecom real-time case study project setup underscore v1.txt. We just completed till here, right? So till the 19, which is one option is just building by yourself from scratch the VM, or you can make use of this existing pre-built VM. Now, once the environment is ready, now we will start setting up our project code and we will build it. We'll run our solution. Okay. And apart from this, I also want you to have a PyCharm. Okay. So PyCharm is one of the editor or IDE integrated development environment where you can build up Python-based applications. It can be a simple Python program, or you can build a complex applications, Django application or PyCharm, PySpark application. You can build it. So I just this install how to install the PyCharm. I given the steps. You just follow that in the video tutorial. Install it. So I just open our root folder of our source code, which is this, and you see the multiple folders here, right? So we are just following up the docs folder. There is 3 more folders. This folder for Kafka producer and consumer, right? So we want to, so this Kafka underscore producer.py is the one, is a simulator. I told you, right? We are using instead of e-commerce website, we are using a simulator to simulate the real-time data. So this is the source code of the program which I'm using it. I will walk through this tomorrow. So there is a file called requirements.txt. Generally, one of the best practices, we don't need to run each package manually, right? So you just listed out the package which you want to install and put it in this file. The name can be anything, but generally we follow requirements.txt. And using the pip command, we just give the file name, pip install -r followed by if you give this file, whatever the package name here, it will get installed. And apart from this, I have one configuration file where, so since we are going to connect the Kafka broker and publish the data, right? So we need a Kafka environment details, which is a Kafka broker details. So I'm maintaining in the details in a file called data making app.config. So it's kind of property file in any applications. So this is all few of the like best practice we need to follow. So we just keep environment details here, Kafka environment details. Okay, so this is one project, and another project is real-time data processing, where we have PySpark application. Okay, so again, so this has the code where how to consume your data from the Kafka topic, and out what are the metrics we are going to generate. It's simple aggregates. I kept it very simple, but we can build complex, right? So we will discuss. Okay, so if you come up with the particular metrics we want to build, we'll do that as well, right? So few things I kept very, yeah.
Yeah, when you are explaining this code,
yeah.
So are you going to explain the functionalities, what exactly it will like in line number 182?
Yes,
right
yes,
stream
yes.
Is there, right?
Yes, yes.
Because as we are somewhat new in this programming, right? So
yeah,
we may need some guidance so
yes.
that it will be helpful for us to understand better.
Yeah. So yeah, just thought I kept actually 8 hours duration. I will try to complete before mostly not tomorrow class. It will take like at least 3 classes needed, like 6 hours needed. So I kept a buffer of 2 hours so that at least I can explain the each and every code within this 8 hours duration.
So, sir, actually, whatever you will explain today and tomorrow, and will be explained again in this week, right?
Yeah, weekdays as well. So because some people are not available on the weekends, so for them, I am putting the weekdays class. You can also attend. There is no issues.
Yeah, and suppose that if I will if no one will if we will not attend weekdays class, then you will continue from tomorrow to the next weekend, right? Saturday.
Yes. So tomorrow we will set up the project code and we'll run the demo. And time permits, I will explain you about this Kafka producer. And the next week, or whenever the time permits, we will go accordingly, like step by step. I will not miss any steps. Don't worry. Yeah.
Thanks, Pari. And really appreciated if you have any leads for the Kafka, so that we'll have some fair idea to gain knowledge.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, okay. So there are multiple sources available, right? You can very well go and explore, but I will give us if you like I think you or someone asked me, like they are good at reading from the books, right? Some people prefer video tutorials, some people prefer like reading textbooks or ebooks, right? So I'll provide both the information, you can explore from there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And then finally, right, the dashboard part of it, there's a one more application project, or maybe I will say project. Okay, so there is a project called real-time_chart. This is where the Django based application is there again. So I would suggest people to just explore about Python Django. This code I will explain you about tomorrow. At least the project structure also I will explain tomorrow, because Django is people might be very new to Django. If somebody is already there, it's good. Probably you can also throw some inputs if I not followed any particular guidelines, right? Yeah. So this in this project we build the dashboard. It's one web page, and we are using a chart.js JavaScript library for publishing our data in the as a charts or graphs. So we use bar charts and pie charts. Yeah. So that's about the environment setup. So with that, I will actually will close today's session. Let me know if you have any question. As I see some of the people are not joined in the Telegram group. Please join. So it is there in your course welcome message. Also, I put it in the email which I send this invite. So please join so that if you have any questions, we can address there as well. Okay, so
yes.
I think we can start from the tomorrow's session, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, Pari.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Please just try to do the setup if somebody want to do by themselves, or we'll go with the pre-built VM.
Thank you.
Thank you.